serial burglar in Monroe. Frank Granito has your Nutmeg Sports update and a look at the forecast, and Donald Eng joins us later to take a look back on this day in history. But first, Milford police are looking for witnesses to a serious motorcycle accident on Merwin Avenue June 10th. Now, police said that accident occurred at about 10:15 at night on Saturday. A motorcycle was traveling eastbound on Merwin Avenue, and a Subaru Forester was pulling out of a private driveway in the area of Sandpiper Crescent when the two vehicles collided in the road. The two drivers and one passenger were transported to Yale New Haven Hospital for evaluations of injuries ranging from minor to serious. Well, police are asking anyone with information to contact them at 203-878-5244. And in other news, a one-year-old boy was back safely with his mother yesterday after Bridgeport police said he was snatched by a state parole officer and her boyfriend, desperate to adopt the child. Hearst Connecticut media reports that 51-year-old Gladys Marquez, the parole officer, was charged with home invasion and second-degree kidnapping, while her boyfriend, 52-year-old Edgardo Soberel, a retired parole officer, was charged with conspiracy to commit home invasion and second-degree kidnapping. Both were released after posting $25,000 bonds. Bridgeport Police Chief Armando Perez said, quote, "These are people who apparently believe because they have worked with the law that they can do whatever they want." The baby was taken to Bridgeport Hospital where he was reunited with his mother. And in other Milford news, the Milford Police Department Special Services Investigation Unit is looking for a missing teen. 17-year-old Sonia Collins is about 5'7", 120 pounds, with brown eyes and long black hair that's partially dyed purple. Sonia was last seen on Saturday wearing a multicolored top, blue jean shorts, and sneakers. Police said Sonia is a habitual runaway with ties to Waterbury. Anyone with information regarding her whereabouts is asked to contact the Milford Police Department at 203-878-6551. And lawyers representing the family of Reading resident Gugsa Abe DeBella, who police say committed suicide in Reading in 2014, say they're disappointed in the criminal investigation into the case that's been closed. The attorneys in a press release say they disagree with a recent statement by State's Attorney Stephen Sedensky, who closed the criminal investigation into the death last week. Sedensky said last week that the evidence does not support a conclusion that DeBella's death was a homicide. Well, the family's attorneys say they look forward to questioning Sedensky under oath at his deposition in the civil case next month. An attorney for the family said in part, "We are astonished that instead of limiting his statement to a conclusion that the evidence is insufficient for his office to establish that a homicide took place, Sedensky went beyond his role and stated that no homicide occurred." The family has also set up a tip website at justiceforabe.com/reward. Well, in other news, Monroe police have released photos of a suspect they believe burglarized a home on Purdy Hill Road last Thursday. On June 8th, Monroe officers responded to a residential burglary on Purdy Hill Road, and they say it took place between 12 p.m. and 8:30 at night. Police are asking for the public's assistance in trying to identify the individual from photos of him and his vehicle. Well, if you have any information, you can contact Monroe detectives at 203-452-2831. And Easton Town Hall is dealing with cleanup today after a sewage overflow Monday in the building. Open doors and at least one large fan were being used to remove sewage odor from inside Easton Town Hall on Monday night following that septic backup. Well, on Monday, First Selectman Adam Dunsby and Police Chief Tim Shaw were on the scene as of about 9 p.m., as well as Easton firefighters for that overflow. Town Hall is open today, according to Dunsby, but the building's bottom floor houses the Easton Police Department where that overflow appears to have occurred. This includes the 911 dispatch center. Shaw said he expects some police personnel to remain in the building today and the 911 call center to stay operational. However, patrol officers will begin working out of the Easton Firehouse as an alternative location, but you can get more on that story at eastoncourier.com. And at a recent forum on Russia held by the Ridgefield Democratic Town Committee, U.S. Congressman Himes talked about President Donald Trump, international relations, and spoke on the president's mental health when asked by a person in the crowd if the president could be removed from office. HAN reporter Grace Duffield was there and captured Himes speaking on Trump's international relations. Take a look.
He took a specific mention of Article 5, which is the core of NATO, out of his speech, and everybody knows that he did it. Apparently, I wasn't in the room. He in a room with other NATO leaders, couldn't string a sentence together. This is a man who doesn't know the facts, who acts on instinct, all things that we do not, in that context. NATO is the security context that we want. The recent withdrawal from the Paris climate thing, basically the shutting down of TPP, and that whatever you think of TPP, whatever you think of NAFTA, we are saying to the world, we're no longer going to be there, and by the way, we're no longer going to lead. That's what every country in the world has heard in the last 4 months, and that's a very dangerous world.
Congressman Himes was joined by Deputy Secretary of State Scott Bates for that forum, which was called Russia, the U.S. and Trump, in which nearly 200 people attended at the Ridgefield Library. Now, one resident asked about potential mental health evaluation and removal of the president from office for impaired mental health. Congressman Himes spoke about the 25th Amendment. Check it out.
There are big, big things at stake here. Very, very big things at stake, right? I mean, a properly removed president is an exercise of graceful constitutional authority. An improperly removed president is a coup d'etat. And this first really started coming up, of course, in the 1960s when somebody asked the question, what if JFK had survived the attack that proved fatal, but had survived in a coma? There was no legal authority to appoint somebody to step in and assume the president's power. So in 1967, we passed the 25th Amendment, which gives the vice president and the cabinet the right to deem the president incapable of exercising his or her authority, or a congressionally appointed body.
And we'll have more on Congressman Himes in Ridgefield on CT Pulse tomorrow at 12:30. Now let's talk about this weather. It is really hot out there, even causing some schools to dismiss early due to the temperatures. Stratford Public Schools, in fact, dismissing early today. You can get more on that at stratfordstar.com. But for more on the forecast, we're going to throw it over to Frank Granito. Frank.
Thank you, Kate. And you're right. It is going to be very warm and very humid again. We're looking at temperatures around 92 degrees today with the humidity at 65%. That is going to feel more like 100. There's going to be increasing cloud cover expected this afternoon, and we are looking at a strong chance of thunderstorms that could come with downpours and damaging winds, as we might see our first serious storm of the end of spring summer season. We'll be seeing cloud cover continuing tonight, cooler out with temperatures falling into the mid-60s and some rolling thunderstorms heading into Wednesday. Not as warm out tomorrow, temperatures in the mid to high 70s. Mostly sunny earlier in the day before a mix of sun and clouds through the afternoon. Temperatures continuing to fall overnight into the mid-50s. Patches of clouds all the way through to Thursday. And mostly sunny again on Thursday, cooler with a high of only 73. Not as humid the second half of this week, and we're going to see a light breeze around 12 to 15 miles per hour. Thickening cloud cover beginning in the late evening, and there'll be a couple overnight showers that could carry into Friday morning and the early half of the day. That'll do it for this weather report. Let's go back over to Kate.
All right, thanks so much, Frank. Well, we're going to step out for a break. When we come back, Donald Eng takes a look back on this day in history. Frank has your Nutmeg Sports Update, and there's a lot more local news coming up after this.
At InSports Trumbull, the game is always on inside. Sign-ups are now open for one of our most popular programs, the New England 80 Elite Lacrosse Division I and Division III Showcases. With D1 and D3 coaches in attendance, players will receive a 60-minute webinar with Director of Recruiting Hans Hansen, a custom NE80 penny, custom shorts, and a video of all games. Last year's event sold out quickly, so sign up now for the next showcase coming in January 2018. Like and follow us on Facebook.
When it comes to considering the outside of your home, just imagine the possibilities. Whether your dream is a stunning freeform pool or a tranquil, secluded garden, the team of professionals at Stonebridge Associates will make it a reality. We offer unparalleled landscape design and construction, masonry development, pools, spas, and water features, as well as landscape and garden maintenance. No other firm can offer the same level of creativity, quality, and personal attention. Discover the possibilities at stonebridgeassociates.net or call 203-544-8376 today.
At the Milford Bank, we offer an extensive selection of lending products and services to meet virtually any need. Submit your application online in our Mortgage Web Center. Start to finish, you can apply for a loan in as little as 10 minutes. Our knowledgeable and helpful staff are available to meet with you at your convenience. To learn more about what we can do for you, stop by one of our Milford Bank offices or visit us at milfordbank.com. The Milford Bank, always there. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Let our satisfied customers tell it.
I have called Mr. Handyman for every reason, every occasion, every broken item, every leak. They have bailed me out on many occasions, and I would recommend them to anyone.
For any project, large or small.
MrHandymanCT.com.
Pizza to satisfy even the most demanding critics. Tuesday Pazza Pizza.
I'm Tracy Masella, a licensed clinical social worker at Silver Hill Hospital in New Canaan. Join me each month as we talk with experts on the front lines of the treatment of mental health and addiction. Straight Talk with Tracy, a Silver Hill Hospital production, airs at 12 p.m. on the second Thursday of each month here on the HAN network.
Welcome back to this June 13th edition of your Coffee Break on the HAN network. I'm Kate Czaplinski, and it's time to take a look back on this day in history with Donald A. Don.
Well, Kate, America recognizes a hero with financial detritus. But first we go to 313 CE. The Edict of Milan is signed by the Emperor Constantine and co-emperor Valerius. It grants religious freedom throughout the Roman Empire. Now, the edict, in fact, legalized Christianity. Constantine himself declared himself to be a convert late in life, though how much he believed or even understood the religion is historically debatable. 1777, Gilbert du Motier, better known by his title, the Marquis de Lafayette, lands in South Carolina to help the Continental Congress train its army. Just 18 years old at the time, Lafayette was already a 6-year veteran of the French army and also phenomenally wealthy. He is credited with helping organize and finance the Continental Army and helping to convince France to enter the war. 1966, in Arizona, the U.S. Supreme Court rules in the case of Miranda v. Arizona that police must inform suspects of their rights before questioning them. Now, 3 years earlier, Ernesto Miranda had been convicted of rape and kidnapping, largely based on a coerced confession he signed after being falsely told he had been identified by the victim. After the Supreme Court voided the decision, Miranda was retried without the confession and reconvicted. Following his release from jail in 1972, Miranda was stabbed to death in a bar fight a few years later. His killer got away, but his accomplice was caught. But having been read his Miranda rights, the accomplice chose to remain silent, and the killer was never arrested. Finally, now we go to 1927 in New York City. Aviator Charles Lindbergh receives a ticker tape parade down Fifth Avenue in New York City after his solo transatlantic flight. An estimated 4 million people came out to see him. Now, ticker tape parades used to be fairly common in the city, about 8 or 9 in a year some years. Recently, they've been held only very infrequently every few years, and mostly for championship sports teams. Also, ticker tape has essentially not existed since the late 1960s, and virtually no office buildings have opening windows. So when you see a parade now, you are seeing shredded scrap and toilet paper being tossed off of rooftops. That is your look back in history for today, June 13th, and I'm Donald Ing.
All right, thanks so much, Don. Well, in other local news, police in Connecticut are searching for a motorist who struck and killed a large group of geese. Waterbury police say a driver hit more than 20 geese near Lakewood Park Sunday morning. Police say they received a call about the incident around 5:30. Deputy Chief Fernando Spagnola said he is not sure if the incident was intentional, but police say the front bumper and license plate of the vehicle involved in the crash were left at the scene. Authorities say they have identified the vehicle in that case. Let's throw it back over to Frank Granito now for a Nutmeg Sports Update. Frank.
Thank you, Kate. And competing Saturday at the New England Championships at Norwell High School in Norwell, Massachusetts, Ridgefield High's 4x400 relay team not only finished first at the meet, but set a program record with a time of 3 minutes 53 seconds. Alexandra Damron, Katie Czaplinski, Emma Langlis, and Anna Lander, as you saw there in that photo, made up the team. With their victory, Landler, Langus, Czaplinski, and Damron remained unbeaten in the 4x400 relay during the postseason. They had previously finished first at the FCAC tournament, Class Double L, and State Open meets, also setting the school record at the Class Double L Championships. The relay team now has the 4 fastest times in school history, and with the win, they garnered all New England honors. Unfortunately, Kate, we do not have a Nutmeg Sports today, but we are back tomorrow. We hope to be joined by captains of some of the championship teams from this spring season. We'll have highlights of our favorite plays, and we will also take a look at some of the all-FCAC teams. That'll all be tomorrow at 2. But that'll do it for this Nutmeg Sports Update. Let's go back over to Kate.
All right, thanks so much, Frank. Well, a second Stratford town budget is in place, but it appears the $216.3 million plan approved by councilors on Monday night is likely to fail via a mayoral veto. After another lively and sometimes angry meeting, town council members voted 6-4 to approve a spending plan introduced by 5th District Councilman Greg Can. The proposal removes more than $3 million from Mayor John Harkin's second proposed $219.4 million plan. The council-approved plan gives the Board of Education a $109 million budget, which is roughly $700,000 less than what Harkins had introduced. It also offers reductions to town hall offices from Harkin's proposal, including 15% less for the council clerk's office, the mayor's office, human resources, the town attorney, the chief administrative officer, and the registrar of voters office. However, the budget appears to be set for veto. Greg Can said after the meeting that Harkins informed him that if the plan was approved, it will be rejected, just as a $216.1 million budget approved on May 17th was vetoed a week later with a signature before an audience at Bunnell High School. But there's much more on that story at StratfordStar.com. And the Connecticut DMV, beginning today, will phase in a new program to mail driver's licenses and ID cards to customers renewing them or applying for a new one. Now, the agency also will introduce a new design for these credentials as part of a continuing effort to help prevent identity theft. No longer will licenses and ID cards be handed to someone in an office. More than 25 states nationally now mail these credentials, and although residents still must appear at a DMV or a AAA office to renew or apply, customers will be given a temporary paper card until the permanent card arrives in the mail. The program, called Central Issuance, involves mailing permanent license and ID cards from a secure facility and is required under the Federal Real ID Act. The phase-in of the program will begin with the Willimantic branch office and continue during the next month at other DMV and AAA offices, which also provide license and ID card services. The new design for licenses and IDs will include several new and upgraded security features. And in other news, Marty Schwartz, the president and CEO of the Kennedy Center, has announced his retirement, slated for mid-January 2018. Now described as a champion for people with disabilities, he's touched the lives of thousands of families throughout Connecticut during his nearly 40 years as an executive and nationally recognized in the rehabilitation field. When Schwartz became the first president and CEO of the Kennedy Center back in 1978, the small community-based rehabilitation organization was a grassroots nonprofit that was founded in 1951 by its namesake, Evelyn Kennedy, and 12 parents. At the time, that agency served under 200 adults with intellectual disabilities and employed 48 staff members. But now headquartered in Trumbull, the Kennedy Center serves over 2,000 individuals annually from birth through their senior years with a variety of disabilities. It also employs over 750 staff and operates with an annual $32 million budget. The agency is one of the largest employers in the region and one of the largest rehabilitation organizations in the state of Connecticut. Now, according to Jordan Sheff, who's the Connecticut Commissioner of the Department of Developmental Services, said Marty has played an integral role in Connecticut's success in supporting individuals with intellectual disabilities. And in other news, Wilton High School graduate Benjamin Simpson was among the Tony winners Sunday night, June 11th, garnering a statuette as one of the producers of Hello, Dolly, which won the award for Best Musical Revival. Simpson is listed as a producer of a number of Broadway shows, including A Doll's House Part 2, The Glass Menagerie, Oh Hello on Broadway, and Waitress, which was nominated for Best Musical in 2016. You can get more on that at wiltonbulletin.com. We're going to step out for a break, and when we come back, we're going to recap some of the top stories we're following today on your coffee break after this.
Part of banking well is doing good. That's why, with the support of local community partners, Bankwell has launched the Bankwell Pet Adoption Project to boost awareness about the hundreds of animals in local shelters that need a home. And when you donate to the cause using the Bankwell self-service coin machines, we'll match your donation. For details, visit mybankwell.com/pleaseadoptme. Bank smart, bank local, bank well.
Spring has sprung at Walter Stewart's Market, and we're celebrating the new season with fresh takes on spring. From the finest produce around to guaranteed fresh seafood delivered daily by the best local supplier. Not only are we your time-saving one-stop shop for everything you need this season, our personable team is always ready with a helping hand. Shop Stewart's for the best of spring. Find us at 229 Elm Street, New Canaan, or shop online at stewartsmarket.com.
The new fishing season is fast approaching, so it's time to head over to the dock shop and get your gear in order. We're now offering bait in both Darien and our Westport location. The dock shop can service and repair your rods and reels, spool up new line, and fill any empty space you might have in your tackle box. Whether you're a fisherman, boater, or beach bum, the dock shop is a unique place to shop. The dock shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport, dockshop.com.
Did you know heart attacks and strokes are the leading cause of death in America? Protect the health of you and your loved ones. Talk to a doctor about heart disease. Hi, I'm Dr. David Pazer with ProHealth Physicians, encouraging you to stay informed about health matters that affect you.
ProHealth Physicians is on the pulse of social media to share information about health and nutrition with the community. Get up-to-the-minute alerts, including ProHealth Physicians' news and upcoming events. Connecticut's leading group of primary care doctors is just a click away.
At Budget Blinds, we're in business to frame the light, the day, and the night. So we give you an exclusive combination of high style, expert service, our no surprises pricing, and our no questions asked warranty. We believe that everyone, at every budget, deserves style and service. Isn't that a beautiful place to be?
I can't believe it.
Well, Dad, you did it. You sold 160 cars. Ready to go back upstairs now?
I think it's time. I wonder how the boys are making out in their new office.
Not what I had in mind, Kyle. What, Dad?
Maybe we should retire. Right now, lease a 2017 Rogue S for only $139 a month. Isn't it time you got Millerized?
If you're watching this broadcast, you're not alone. The HAN network is available for 200,000 Connecticut cable customers on the Frontier network, and we've also reached more than 2 million viewers on our free live streaming sports, news, and entertainment broadcasts. To reach our rapidly growing audience, contact Advertising Director Jessica Murrin at 203-273-7312 or email jessica@han.network.
Welcome back to this Tuesday edition of your Coffee Break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski, recapping some of the top stories we're following today. Milford police are looking for witnesses to a serious motorcycle accident on Merwin Avenue June 10th. Police say that accident occurred about 10:15 at night on Saturday. A motorcycle was traveling eastbound on Merwin Avenue and a Subaru Forester was pulling out of a private driveway in the area of Sandpiper Crescent when the two vehicles collided in the road. The two drivers and one passenger were transported to Yale New Haven Hospital for evaluations of injuries, ranging from minor to serious. Now, if anyone has any information regarding the accident, they're asked to contact the Milford Police at 203-878-5244. And a 1-year-old boy was back safely with his mother Monday after Bridgeport police said he was snatched by a state parole officer and her boyfriend, desperate to adopt the child. Well, Hearst, Connecticut media reports that 51-year-old Gladys Marquez, the parole officer, was charged with home invasion and second-degree kidnapping, while her boyfriend, 52-year-old Edgardo Soberel, a retired parole officer, was charged with conspiracy to commit home invasion and second-degree kidnapping. Both were released after posting $25,000 bonds. Bridgeport Police Chief Armando Perez said these are people who apparently believe because they have worked with the law that they can do what they want. The baby was taken to Bridgeport Hospital where he was reunited with his mother. And in other Milford news, the police department is looking for a missing teen. 17-year-old Sonia Collins is about 5'7", 120 pounds with brown eyes and long black hair that's partially dyed purple. Sonia was last seen on Saturday, June 10th, wearing a multicolored top, blue jean shorts, and sneakers. Police said Sonia is a habitual runaway with ties to Waterbury, and anyone with information is asked to contact police at 203-878-6551. And in other news, lawyers representing the family of Reading resident Gugsa Abe DeBella, who police say committed suicide in Reading in 2014, say they are disappointed that the criminal investigation into the case has been closed. The attorneys in a press release say they disagree with the recent statement by State's Attorney Stephen Sedensky, who closed the criminal investigation into the death last week. Sedensky said last week that the evidence does not support a conclusion that DeBella's death was a homicide. The family attorneys say they look forward to questioning Sedensky under oath at his deposition in a civil case next month. Now, an attorney for the family also said, "We are astonished that instead of limiting his statement to a conclusion that the evidence is insufficient for his office to establish that a homicide took place, Sedensky went beyond his role and stated that no homicide occurred." The family has also set up a tips website at justiceforabe.com/reward. And Monroe police have released photos of a suspect they believe burglarized a home on Purdy Hill Road last Thursday. On June 8th, Monroe officers responded to that home on Purdy Hill Road, and they say it took place between 12 p.m. and 8:30 p.m. Police are looking for the public's assistance in trying to identify the individual from photos of him and his vehicle. If you have any information, please contact the Monroe Police Detective Division at 203-452-2831. Well, let's get one final look at the forecast with Frank Granito. Frank.
Thank you, Kate. And we're looking at least one more day of this heat wave now with an expected high of 92 degrees, plenty of sunshine, plenty of humidity. It's going to feel more like 100 out there. Make sure you stay hydrated, but be ready to close those windows because the storms are coming now. We have got thunderstorms coming this afternoon, potential downpours and dangerous wind levels going with those. Cloud cover continuing overnight. Cooler though with temperatures into the mid-60s and some rolling thunderstorms before Wednesday. Wednesday and Thursday looking much better though. Cooler, mostly sunny through the day. Some increasing cloud cover later in the afternoon. You're going to see temperatures around the mid-70s, and then Thursday night a couple of showers that will carry into Friday, so we could see a little rain to start the weekend, but we got to get through this heat first today, Kate.
Thanks, Frank. Well, we're going to wrap things up here on your coffee break. Coming up at 12:30, The Drive with Denise. Be sure to check it out. And we'll see you tomorrow for your coffee break at 11. Stay cool.